Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you in part by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As you guys can see, there is an empty seat next to me with said member to be on camera shortly. I can't wait to introduce him to you guys. But in the meantime, such an exciting time to be a Florida fan. We're going to get into what happened last night with Florida versus Auburn and Florida's dismantling of said number one overall team in college basketball, which was the Auburn Tigers. We are going to dive into the world of Tijuana as we have a drink on behalf of the Gators. But among other things, we're also going to be talking about the MLB and the NHL, what's going on with the Rays and the Marlins, and why the Rays seem to be falling off the wagon, and the Marlins seem to actually be playing pretty good baseball at this time. We'll talk about the playoff approach towards the NHL with the Bolts and the Panthers both lock into the playoffs. The question is, are going to be 1, 2, or 3? It's looking like 2 and 3 with the way the Maple Leafs are playing. And of course, we're going to cover a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well as the rest of the MLB stuff that I have for you, including the update on the Rays Stadium and what they will be doing moving forward. But keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, with a very special guest that you guys will see shortly. And it is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio, everybody. Would you look at who's joining me here in this illustrious blue and orange, guys? It is none other than my old man, Big Papa himself.
It's great to be a Florida Gator. It's great to be a Florida Gator. That's right.
That's correct. Yep, that's correct. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Obviously, we're excited, right? We've got the drinks.
Yes.
Repping Tampa Bay.
Sorry, Gilbert, I don't have bourbon.
Yeah. No bourbon. I'm a whiskey guy. Well, okay, I'm an everything guy, and then so what I'm gonna be sipping on some more Tijuana. This stuff goes down hard, but it's great. And so we're gonna keep it all in the city, guys. But as you guys, like I said, can see, we are super excited. We are super proud of our blue and orange guys. And I can't wait to get into the content that we have for you today, guys. Like I said, we're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about the Heat and the Magic, of course. Both of the teams are making the play-in, so we're going to be able to see where that takes us. A lot more faith in the Magic than the Heat right now, but we'll get into that and so much more. Of course, college basketball is going to be the highlight of the show this evening. That's what we're going to spend the most of the time talking about. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about what I witnessed yesterday. I did watch the entire game, so super exciting there. The MLB, we're going to talk about the Rays and the Marlins, of course.
Yes.
We'll see what's going on there in the respective cities of Miami and Tampa Bay as far as baseball is concerned. And while the Rays are going down, but the Marlins are going up, but there's nothing to worry about. The season just started. So, and then we will wrap things up with the NHL guys, and I will let you guys know what's going on with the Bolts and the Panthers as well as we approach this playoff era for NHL hockey in 2025, guys. All that and so much more on this week's episode of Palm Tree Sports Radio. Dad, you want to say something to the people real quick?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to do a shout out right now. Okay, actually 3 shout outs.
Go ahead.
First of all, happy birthday, Gilbert White, my buddy from King High School, who shares the same birthday as my daughter, Leslie Pujols.
Big happy birthday, sis. Big
Yes.
happy birthday.
All right, and much love to my favorite cheerleader, Miss Linda Freeman Porter, who's online with us today, and arguably the best cheerleader the Buccaneers ever had.
That's right.
So I am also going to have a little slight commentary on what I would say to Dan Golden and the boys before tomorrow night's game.
Yep, absolutely. Todd is definitely that man. I love him. I love him. His energy. He's so contagious, man. This is so incredible right now. So so we have a lot to talk about this evening.
Absolutely.
Okay, a lot of Gator stuff to talk about this evening, but still keep it locked here, guys. Real quick, I want to mention our social medias, guys. If you are looking for us on social media, you can find us on Twitter. X, now formerly known as Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and basically whatever your social media handle is, you can find us there. And we are on not just IE Sports Radio, but my show as well, Palm Tree Sports Radio. You can find us all at IE Sports Radio for the umbrella. That is going to be the social media handle over all of the shows, including my own. And then for my very own show for Palm Tree Sports, what you're going to look for is Palm Tree Sports _IE. I don't have the ticker for that right now at the moment, so I do apologize for that, guys. But that's where you can find us at. Like I said, this show is at Palm Tree _IE. Okay. And for the umbrella for all of the shows, it is going to be at IE Sports Radio. That is at IE Sports Radio. The website, of course, www.iesportsradio.com, guys. And then from my specific social handle, my dad does not have social media. He shouldn't. He's a married man. He likes his life the way it is, and that's the way it should be. I love you, Mom. But at Pujols Corey, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, always talking sports. Literally been talking sports this entire time, guys. So come find me there. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about everything going on in the world of sports coming out of the Sunshine State, guys. And then I forgot to mention this earlier, but wherever you get your podcast from as well, at IE Sports Radio for the umbrella, same thing as the website, but same thing also for this specific show, Palm Tree Sports, at Palm Tree Sports. I use Apple Podcasts, of course, their speakers, Spotify. There you go. whatever it is that works for you, that's where you can find us at, guys. So real quick, let's get into a message from our sponsors. When we get back, we'll dive into the show. Keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio for all your Florida sports needs. My name is Corey Pujols. That is LSD Pujols, and we will be back to you momentarily. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us this Sunday evening.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio, guys. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and my co-host this evening, LSD Pujols in the building, guys. My old man, guys. Thank you guys again for joining us this Sunday evening. So excited to have you guys. As you can see, we're not going to stop living it up. Tomorrow we bring that title back home for what would that be? Our second, third, fourth? Is this going to be a fourth? I think it is national championship that we're fighting for. So we're super, super excited, guys. Super, super excited. So real quick, let's go ahead and jump into the chat real quick. We're going to get into the fact of the day, and then we're going to dive into the content I have for you. So, Linda, we do see you out there. Thank you so much for being on the show. A pleasure to have you this evening.
Love you, Linda.
Thank you so much. Glad to have you here. Brian, it's good to see you, my man. Congratulations to the Gators. I am loving having Hortford on our team representing you guys. Hell yeah. And you know, this team is truly something special. Like I got to watch him play, you know, a little bit through the regular season, but you know, the playoffs were really where the Gators have shined. We have looked absolutely immaculate. When you watch the regular season, you can see that this team has something, but you want it to mean something. And I think that was the experience that we're still loving and enjoying. Let me tell you, this is not like previous championships. With those last couple of championships we had, we knew what we had in that team. Yes. We knew we had some of the best basketball players, you know, just pretty much in college basketball at that time. This is one of those times where this team is basically like a conglomeration of the misfits that were a whole bunch of guys that were outstanding on programs that didn't deserve them. And now they've come together under Todd Golden's leadership and have emerged as the Autobots of the Transformers worlds, and headed by their leader, Walter Clayton Jr., who has gone absolutely Optimus Prime on the entire college basketball landscape. So, like I said, we can't wait to get into it, guys. We have so much to talk about. But first things first, guys, we are going to get into the fact of the day, guys. And the fact of the day is going to be brought to you by LSD Pujols. So go ahead, my old man. Take it away.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about what's presently called Amalie Arena. Okay. It became Amalie Arena in 2016, but it was first known to all of us as the Ice Palace from 1996 to 2002. And then it was the St. Pete Times Forum from 2002 to 2012. And Tampa Bay Times Forum from 2012 to 2014. Okay. Now, from what I noticed on here, it talks about how it's a great venue for concerts, which I've gone to a few of those. Ice hockey, Lightning, and basketball. We've had some Orlando Magic games there.
That's correct.
Most recently, we had the Women's Finals Four.
That's correct.
Yes, and congratulations to UConn in beating South Carolina. UConn back on the top of the women's heat.
a team that's typically there, may we add.
Yes. So I know I put out there and I say UConn is back. On the women's side, great. None on the men's side. I'm glad we got rid of them.
Oh, they ran into Florida.
Yes,
that was the
that's
problem there.
Little problem.
Yeah, I mean,
But, But congratulations, respect given and deserved. Now, the other thing that I noticed on here is we used to have an arena football team.
Oh, I miss those days.
The Tampa Bay Storm.
Now, didn't we actually go?
Yes, we were season holders during the Tampa Bay Storm, and I think it was against Arizona.
It was in what, 2001?
Oh gosh, I can't remember off the top of my
year
head.
Was that?
I do remember this though.
Uh-huh.
There was somebody that was on the upper corner that was screaming defense, and that chant carried us to a national championship. So mad love to the Tampa Bay Storm. We missed arena hockey around here. That was fun.
It
was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and we went to that championship game. Didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we went to that.
We were there and we celebrated.
So I want you guys to think about that for a second. On a scale of living life moments, I personally physically got to attend both the Tampa Bay Storm's national championship in arena football, and then and they hosted it, right?
Yes,
we hosted it and won it.
So
then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosted the Super Bowl in 2021 with Tom Brady at quarterback, and I actually worked that event.
Yes, you did.
I worked it. I was in the stadium. I was everything short of the field. Obviously, they had the field crew out there, so we weren't able to get on the field. Yeah. But we were up like to the field and everywhere in between around Raymond James Stadium. I could have stayed, but obviously tickets were sold out, so we would have been tailgating to watch, and I wanted to go home and collect myself and whatnot because I was super excited. And
tell them what you were guarding while you were there that day.
So that day, on the day of the Super Bowl, in fact, one of the events that I was tasked with working was actually the Hall of Fame busts. And on the Hall of Fame bust, we got a lot of people to come up to take pictures. It was a real replica bust of the Hall of Famers for that year, and it was absolutely incredible. I was also standing about 30 feet away from Russell Wilson and a few other amazing football players.
You wanted to see his wife.
Hey, listen, who doesn't want to see CC, right? Like, who doesn't want to see CC? So, but it was absolutely incredible. It was just absolutely incredible. Who was the last team to beat Kurt Warner before he joined the NFL? He was in the Arena Football League, and he was it? Was it Tampa? I don't know. I can't remember. I was definitely like 7 or 8 years old at the time. Yeah. So
because he was he with Arizona?
I can't remember, but what I can tell you
because then he went to the Rams and
then the rest is history.
The rest is history. And the movie is made. So,
yeah, there you Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Falk. We know. We know about those guys.
It's a team on turf, I think. They call that, right?
Yeah, man. Let me tell you. Talk about a scary offense, right? Back-to-back Super Bowl appearances too, and a thrilling victory against the Tennessee Titans, followed up by a last-second loss to Tom Brady. And his New England Patriots, and he went on to win his very first Super Bowl.
That's right.
And then come back to Tampa Bay and win another one. So, it's a giant circle over here in Tampa Bay.
And, just so you know, the person that asked that question is my brother, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Welcome to the show.
Joe.
All right.
Hey, Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
Love you.
T-Rod.
Yeah, T-Rod in the building. So let's get into that real quick. Good evening, T-Rod. It's always a pleasure to see you. I was just on the other show with you, listening to D-Lock and the boys talk about what's going on in basketball, of course. And it absolutely tremendous to have you on the show always. And it is a great day, baby, to be a Florida Gator. Always. So shout out Uncle Joe. Good to have you on the show. I'm glad you're here. So what'd you say, Brian? Let's see. The NFL schedule comes out. The Pats go to Tampa Bay. My uncle lives in that area. So when that day comes, I'm looking forward to. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. So bring water. Okay. Bring
lots of water.
Because
it's going to be hot.
They were talking about in Michigan that they had some type of like ice snowstorm or something like that. And some of the guys I ran in today at the store, and they're like, I'm from Vermont and it's like 20 degrees outside. And I'm like, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the heat. Yeah. And they're like sweating and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, this is normal, dude. Like this is normal down here. So bring some water, okay? Because it's gonna be hot.
It's actually gonna cool down a few degrees later on this week.
And by a few degrees, he means like 10. Like it's it'll be 85, 90 again in like
Well,
a
it's
week.
71 for Tuesday, and then
That's
comes
beautiful.
right back up.
Now I want to go outside
enjoy
on
that.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So, but yeah, you know, it's incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. We have just a little bit to talk about with the Bucks. I'm gonna let my dad go ahead and handle that real quick, and then we will dive into the meat and the potatoes of the show. We will get into basketball. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk Bucks real quick. So go ahead, Dad. Tell me what you got.
Absolutely. First of all, this broke today.
Mhm.
Ray the Real Deal Seals, defensive lineman, 5-year Buccaneer. Ray Perkins got him with the team there back in '98. Former Syracuse Orangeman, in fact.
Shout out Syracuse.
Yep. And
Shout out Syracuse.
after being with Tampa Bay, he went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay. And they went to Super Bowl 30. He had a sack in Super Bowl 30. And also continued to have a career with the where they lost to the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And then was with the Panthers in '97, the Bengals in '98. A 10-year career. The thing that was most impressive about Ray Seals was that he went straight from high school to the NFL.
Okay.
No college.
So real quick, let's talk about that for a split second. It's one thing to go from high school to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
To go from high school to the NFL, you have to be some kind of special,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
To do something like that, because this
Absolutely.
is that's skipping a whole layer, perhaps the most important layer of development.
Mhm.
So that's absolutely incredible.
Yep, part of the Syracuse Hall of Fame, well
Yep.
deserved, and well loved. So rest in peace and much love and respect, condolences to the family of Ray Seals. One other bit of information that I did obtain literally in the last hour was about our friend Shaq Barrett.
Shaq Barrett, I actually met Shaq Barrett in real life. He's an incredible person, very, very strong-willed individual, very a very grounded person, somebody who understands the value of life and what it has to offer. So, but yes,
Absolutely. So as y'all know, Shaq had gone from Tampa Bay to Miami. Things weren't going so well in Miami. He retired, then he unretired, wound up getting signed back to finish the year with the Bucks, and now is trying to see where he's going to land this year. He definitely wants to play, and Tampa Bay is definitely still on the radar. We just have to wait and see what happens after everything gets done with the draft.
Yeah.
And of course, we're still looking at edge,
Yeah.
cornerback, maybe safety.
possibly.
Okay. And a lot on the defensive side of the ball. But a lot of people think it's going to be all defense.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there might be one offensive pick.
I mean, so let's talk about that for a second. So there is definitely there's definitely a possibility for the Buccaneers to draft offensively. However, I fully suspect that the first 3 or 4 rounds of the NFL draft for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be strictly cornerback and linebacker. Okay, let's make something very, very clear. Okay, the Buccaneers have a tremendous offense. They have retained 97% of that offense. Okay, including all starters. Okay,
Very important.
It's incredibly important. So you have Baker Mayfield at quarter. You have Kyle Trask at backup. Kyle is no doubt here because one, he knows the system, and he's a Florida guy, right? Went to University of Florida. I mean, if that wasn't obvious,
Another Gator. Yeah, yes.
So
Oh, wait a minute. He's also the first quarterback to be drafted by Tampa Bay that got re-signed.
he is.
Amazing.
That is also very
Amazing.
true because
He's part of history.
yeah. So there's a number of quarterbacks, 2 of which who were drafted by Tampa Bay that went on to win Super Bowls with other teams. If you guys remember, obviously Steve Young,
Yes.
and then of course the great Doug Williams. Okay, both drafted by Tampa Bay and went on to win Super Bowls with the Redskins and the 49ers respectively.
MVPs too, I think, right?
MVPs, both of them of their Super Bowls as well. So you have some incredible lineage there of not retaining great players, and it's nice that we get to keep Kyle Trask. But then also moving back into what we were talking about with the draft, because the Buccaneers have such a potent offense with, you got a starting quarterback, you got a backup. You have 4 tremendous receivers in Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and Shepard. Okay, so you have a wide receiving core. You have one of the best young running backs in all of the NFL. Okay,
Yeah.
in Bucky Irving, along with Rashad White. Now Rashad White took a dip last year. He was not great at all. But that just made it so much more for Bucky. It almost worked out perfectly.
I think he's a better 2.
I think
he's a better 2 than a 1.
I think he's feeling the competition, but I think he needs to remember what he's good at.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He's really, really good at catching out of the backfield. Mm-hmm. That's his best trait, right? But he's also very good when we're pulling guards. Mm-hmm. So in an offense that kind of changed a little bit to allow Baker to have more freedom, Rachaad White kind of went down and Bucky Irving went up. However, a simple adjustment can be made to make this team so much better using Rachaad White, and that's simple. Bringing him in when the idea is to either check to a run play on an audible, right? Or if we're doing dual running back scenarios. So you'll see that happen a lot of the time where you'll see Rachaad White and Bucky Irving both in the game. And that's because you're running a 2-man wide receiver route. Your tight end might be staying to block and you need to flex an option to running back. Now your quarterback can go either way with the ball and have 2 options instead of just 1. That is the type of football that Baker wants to play, because if you guys have watched Baker, he goes through his progression very, very fast. And that works when you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan, guys who can create separation on one-on-one projects. And it's like, okay, oh, Mike's not open. They've got him doubled. Okay, where's Chris? Chris isn't open. Where's my running back? You're simplifying the game state while still being effective. And that right there is what Baker is all about. And if all else fails, Baker's got wheels. Okay? Absolutely. Baker on wheels.
But see, that's why I think they may wind up doing 1 offensive pick still. Because we could be in need of another good blocking tight end.
So,
and especially if you do a 2 running back set. Mm-hmm. Okay? Which you have Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White. Okay, if you have 2 good blocking tight ends, and you can have 2 wide receivers, which will be your 1 and 2, obviously. Okay, there's a very good possibility by getting another one that has good blocking skills to be even a more formidable asset for the Buccaneer offense.
Okay, I could see that. I could also see us developing one of our tight ends. We do have quite a few tight ends, right? Yes. So let's not forget Devin Culp really came on late in the season last year.
That is true.
So
that is true.
We might actually have some room where we could take one of our tight ends and formally convert him more to a blocking tight end. And that's not a bad idea to draft one. It would also not be a bad idea to go after perhaps a 5th wide receiver, just somebody else, just in case. At one point in time last year, we did have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both injured. Yes. And during that time, we saw our tight ends really step up and catch a lot of balls from Baker Mayfield. Absolutely. But that was some rough football to be played.
That was rough football.
So,
let me give Joe some credit, though. Jojo Zilla.
Yes, sir.
Trent Dilfer, you are correct with the Ravens.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Trent Dilfer. Yeah, yes, Trent Dilfer. That's correct.
Here.
Yeah.
At the stadium.
Yeah. Against the Giants. Mm-hmm. Against the Giants. Ray. Yeah. So good job. Good job. Yeah. So make that 3. Make that 3 of them, guys.
That's right.
But I think that just kind of leads them more into that area where kind of re-signing Kyle Trask was definitely a good idea for them. So, but yeah, fully suspect that this draft will be homed in on defense. I agree. There definitely will be an offensive pick at some point. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 or 2 picks used on offense, but they're most definitely going to be after the 4th round. I think right now you have to attack the defense relentlessly. We've done amazing when it comes to drafting guys. The problem is when you draft young players, you're getting just that. You're getting young players. Absolutely. And so we are going to have to rely on a strategy that we utilized in the late 90s to create a tremendous defense to do it once again. And for those of you who may not remember, the Buccaneers drafted John Lynch. They drafted Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, Booger McFarland, Dexter Jackson. They drafted all of those guys. Okay. Yes. So that's
quite a few of them Hall of Famers.
Yeah. So, and probably with more to come because Simeon Rice. I mean, hello.
Absolutely.
But you guys get what I'm saying. So we're going to rely on the draft here very heavily. Like I said, I personally think, and if I was Jason Light, my rounds 1 through 4 go all defense, and I probably attack. I really just look at the board and say, what's the best option? Is it a linebacker or is it a cornerback? and I'm going to make that pick in the first round and just kind of go from there. There are some ideas of players that we do have in mind, but nothing set in stone because of the nature of what we need to draft. And so with those things taken in consideration, like I said, I think rounds 1 through 4 go defense. And then after that, you kind of experiment. I could see, like you said, a tight end, a wide receiver, or an offensive lineman, all of which will be depth. Okay.
I don't think we need wide receiver.
I don't blame you for feeling that way, but I'm saying that from the standpoint of also knowing that there's a couple of decent receivers that are going to be available. Okay. And I think that
there's a decent edge rusher out there available now too.
I mean, there's a little bit of everything available out there right now, but it really is going to come down to, what the team feels like, because think about it, we've drafted so well. Yeah. Okay. We've drafted so well. You look at players like Tyke Smith. You look at Antoine Winfield Jr. You look at, and you even go back to Levante David from way back in Kingdom Come, and you realize that this Buccaneers team is very, very good at drafting well on defense, but they've also missed a few times. Jamel Dean has been MIA the last.
Jamel who?
Right. He got a check, and now he's all brand new. He's all like a diva. Or something.
We don't want to criticize our guys, but if you're not performing, you're gonna hear it.
You got the paycheck, bro. We got to talk about it.
You getting paid.
You got the paycheck.
Last time I checked, I think you're getting paid more than we are.
A lot more. Okay. And so I'm saying that to say, dude, you have a job, do it. All right.
Absolutely.
Do it. Because there are guys out there that are doing it for a third of the price. Okay.
One more thing before we close off the Bucs.
Yeah.
They have restructured some contracts. I think Tristan Wirfs was one of them.
Absolutely.
And there were a couple of others. And they're now sitting at 30.5 under.
Was it Tristan? It was Tristan.
It was Tristan Wirfs for
sure.
Was
Antoine one of them?
Antoine Winfield was another one.
Yeah, Antoine.
And there was one other one, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But the reason why I said that is because of the situation that's going on right now in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
With 2 wide receivers getting paid and saying, oops, the edge rusher. Did we forget him?
Yep, sure did. ... So and obviously that's not the only thing that we're going to be paying attention to with this money that they have freed up. I truly do believe, going back to Shaq Barrett, that he will be back with the team. I'll say this before we move on, but guys, Shaq Barrett, he wants to play in Tampa.
Yes,
Jason Light would love to have him back in Tampa, but we have some housekeeping things to take care of. Look, Shaq Barrett's in the twilight of his career, but he can still play.
Yes,
okay?
He can.
If he wants to win, and I know Shaq Barrett, I met him, like I said, he will take less money to be on a successful team that he wants to be on. And as a result, I think Jason Light would just absolutely love to have him here, especially at the price that he'd be willing to accept something like Levante David, where you don't have to break the bank, make the guy happy, give him the target number he wants, and let him play fucking football, right? Excuse my French, but you guys get what I'm saying. So Shaq Barrett, I fully suspect, will be back, but I do believe, you mentioned it earlier, that we're going to have to wait to see what happens here at the end of at free agency and moving into the draft as well, because those things, they matter. They really, really matter.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on into the NBA, guys. And so for the NBA, we're going to talk Heat Magic. The Heat, we thought the Heat were dead in the water. They made the play-in off the back of like a very tremendous 6-2 run that they had. I think that this team just wasn't the same after the JB situation. I've been saying that every week, but they saw JB in the Warriors and they beat him. Okay, so that was impressive on that 6-game win streak.
That was nice.
Yeah,
that was very nice. That might have been a turning point.
Now, Uncle Brian, if you're listening, we're also Warriors fans. We do love Steph Curry, but it's Florida first, other teams after. Okay, Florida first, other teams after. So unless you're LeBron James and the Lakers, then it's Lakers first for me, and then everybody else after.
I have something on the West in a moment.
Yeah, we'll get there. But with the Heat, like I said, 6-2 over their last 8 gets them into the play-in. Literally 0 games. Like they needed that because they were exactly 6 games away from who was right beneath them?
Toronto,
the Raptors. The Raptors have 29 wins. The Heat have 35. That's a 6-game difference. Literally, they made it off the back of that last loss that the Raptors had. And so that was a very, very lucky situation. I don't have a lot of faith in this team right now. I don't. Yes, the 6-2 looks really, really nice. It's towards the end of the season, so I suppose that's like part of it, but they're lacking something, right? Like they're lacking something, and that something could have been JB.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no love lost between the two when they left and separated ways there. But the bottom line is that even though they don't have Jimmy there no more, okay, you still got to gel as a team. And it seems like there has been some continuity, and they have played much better ball of late. And who knows what's going to happen? They are the last seed right now.
Yep, they made it as a 10.
Yep, and if everything ended the way that it is right now, they would play the team we're fixing to talk to about next.
The Orlando Magic, in fact.
Absolutely. So if you want, we can go ahead and get into the Magic.
Right before we get into the Magic, just some housekeeping real quick. They did lose the last game to the Bucks 121-116 in overtime. They were fighting. Like I said, the team is fighting. They have some players, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, yada, yada, yada. We hear Eric Spoelstra, head coach. We talk about this every week. They have some pieces. Like you said, they need to gel. They need to put it together. These are grown men playing a grown men's sport. They have to do it. There's nothing. I mean, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but they have to do it, right? In translation, Orlando has been doing it. This is a young team that's performing extremely well, a year ahead of schedule than where I thought they would be from when we first started this show. And so for that, I am super proud of them. But it's a little bit more housekeeping. They will be playing the 76ers tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Guys, tomorrow's going to be a loaded day, so get ready for that. You're going to have games from 7 p.m. on, including the Natty for college basketball. So, guys, there's going to be a ton going on tomorrow. Monday Night Raw on top of everything as well. Right. So I will be flipping back and forth. I will probably have all three of these devices going, and I will be ping-ponging between them. 6-2 over the last 8. We talked about that before. They made it in as a 10 seed. You can't really ask for much more after the type of season that the Heat have had.
Yes.
But like you said, Dad, if everything ended right now, they would be playing the Orlando Magic, and I fully suspect Orlando to handle business.
Dominate it.
Yeah, I expect them to handle business.
I would venture to think they would dominate it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Barring injuries, of course.
That's correct.
There's a couple of notes here I see.
Yeah, here we go. So Brian said, you guys did snap the Celtics win streak.
And they've gone 9-1 since.
The Celtics. I mean, it's the Celtics, right? Like,
but it's not about how you start; it's how you finish. And how many times have the Celtics short-circuited themselves in the playoffs?
And that's one of those things that I look at, and I've always had a ton of respect for that Celtics team, especially with the continuity that they have had throughout the last decade, right? You look at players like Al Horford, White, and obviously, what's his face? What's that light-skinned kid's name? Jesus, I just had him in my head and I lost him.
I just had a senior moment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you got Brown. And the point is this, that Celtics team has a ton of continuity. It's a storied franchise. So we fully expect that team to rebound, but also we know that going into that game, it's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah.
The Heat aren't the team that I feel like the Celtics need to watch out for. It's the Magic. That's the team, because we've seen the Magic play the Celtics extremely hard over the last 3 years.
They love to play the Celtics.
They do. It's almost like there's something there that the Magic get. Like it's like Triple H when Motorhead is playing or something. They're just like, yeah,
time to play the game.
Right. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, that's what it's like. And they get super hype and they come out with all this energy and they filter it and they make it work. Yes. But then they play teams, and Orlando goes and plays teams like the Raptors, and they lose, and you're just like,
it's like WTF without going for it.
Why y'all lose to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys scratching like, why y'all lose to them? Why you beat the Celtics and lose to them? So it was absolutely incredible. But like I said, the Heat are definitely not the team to watch out for. It's going to be the Magic, I think. Yes. But I'm super excited for this Magic playoff run. I think that they're going to be a problem in the East, and I really think they're going to pull an upset. They have a great team. In fact, we're actually going to move right on over to them and start talking about them. Uncle Joe, what'd you say? Magic baby got 2 number 1 picks, and we're going to get Clayton Jr.
I
I love. You know what? I love that
a lot.
I like that. I say yes.
Yes, baby.
I
Yes.
say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we will definitely be looking forward to that. If the Orlando Magic draft Clayton, we're gonna have to have a party or something. I'll bring the alcohol.
We will have another drink.
We're gonna have another drink for that. So yeah, losing Suggs hurt the season for the Magic. Best defense player we had. Yeah, I remember that. I talked about that briefly on the show. But luckily, he might be the best defensive player, but we have a couple of guys that play pretty solid defense, including KCP. Paul Banchero is not a guy that you can score easily on, especially when he's got his hands up.
Love me some Paul Banchero.
Yeah, that guy's a wizard. I love me some Franz Wagner too. That kid can ball as well,
Yes.
So, but I agree with that statement, but I do think that the Magic will be able to move forward and power on through, the rest of the season into the playoffs and be able to make some noise and definitely send somebody home, even if it's the Heat. But yeah, so
somebody's got to go.
And if at this,
it ain't them.
I would prefer Orlando to stay.
Yes.
Like I would like Orlando to. They have the firepower. They have the youth on their side, and as well as a really good team put together, top to bottom. Very, very good young team. So
nice arena that they play.
I love going to Emily Arena. I'll be the first one to tell you. I've been there so many times for many different reasons. And
Joe was there recently with Joel.
Yeah, so there you go. And soon, Monster Jam, Motocross, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, we've been there for next to every reason. The Arena Football League, as you mentioned, as well. So
that's right.
We go there all the time. We go there all the time, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the Magic real quick. All right. So for the Magic, they're in right now as a 7 seed. They beat the Wizards 109-97. Good W there. Wizards worst team in the East. It is what it is. Orlando Magic rocking a 38-40 record, 2 games under 500. So they're right there knocking on the door. You got to continue to move forward. Wizards 17-61 worst record in the East. Like I said, next game is going to be against the Hawks. Hawks rocking the 36-41 record. In fact, the Hawks are the team that are directly behind the Magic right now in the playoff run.
That's what I was just looking at right now.
That's correct. They are right behind them. That game is going to be Tuesday, April 8th at 7 p.m. So get ready for that one, guys. That's going to be the Tuesday game. Pretty much all the other games are going to be Monday night games. So take a break, catch a Orlando Magic game. They're 3-1 over the last 4. So they're making it happen, guys. They're winning games. They're inching their way back to 500. They need to continue to get above 500. I think that continuity in the W column will help them out a lot. Just like any race car, nitrous is better than no nitrous, right? Even if the car falls apart, you want to win. That's the goal here. Okay, so
now I know you got the Magic and the Heat, and we mentioned Atlanta.
Yeah.
But the other team that's in that mix right now is sitting in a 9 right now is a team that's played very well of late, and that's the Chicago Bulls.
Well, Chicago's got some players now.
So it'll be very interesting to see. If I was the Magic, I'd hold on to that 7 spot.
Avoid the Bulls, yeah.
And I would avoid the Bulls in round 1.
Make them have to work a little bit before you play them. I completely understand that logic.
Yeah. I mean that's the way I see it right now.
Absolutely,
because I think the Bulls would be the biggest threat in round 1 of those 3 teams there.
Yeah, in the back end, I would say. I mean, obviously momentum, right? You know, I'm a big fan of momentum. And
Mo.
Yeah, and I've always said that, when you have momentum, you are the only person that can stop it, and so as a result, I do think that Chicago is in a great place to be able to just continue to push on forward. But I also feel that same way about the Orlando Magic. Like I said, 3-1 over the last 4. We got how many games left in the season? Was it like 8 games or something like that?
There's 4
games.
5 games left. I think
4 or 5 games left in the NBA season. So
they got it right there. 4 or 5 games left.
There you go. So we're approaching the end rapidly. By this time next week, we will know where everybody's going to be at win, lose, draw for the last 1 or 2 games. So that's a massive thing. And like I said, if the Magic had to play the Bulls right now, that would take a lot out of them. I think that they would win the series, but I also think that it would take a lot out of them. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things where I think you'd rather do that when there's more at stake and more to play for it versus so early on and just burn yourself out. We've seen that happen many times before, right? And it doesn't matter if you're talking about 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, or 2010s basketball. We've seen teams do that. We've even seen the Golden State Warriors do that, okay? Up 3-1 against Braun and the Cavs. So, obviously, we kind of want to avoid that if we can, and use momentum as that nitrous to move forward and let that kind of control the trajectory of this team.
Absolutely. I got.
I'm not gonna post that. If y'all want to read that, you have to go into the chat. You have to read that in the chat. But I love it. I love it, Theo. I love it. Listen, guys. We're gonna get into our first break of the evening. When we get back, we're gonna jump into the Gators and we're gonna have ourselves a drink. I can't wait for that.
But before we do that, let me mention, because with respect to my brother,
absolutely.
I did want to mention this NBA West fact here. Of course, you got your Lakers are sitting at 3. Golden State's at 5 right now in the West, and only the first 2 seeds are in a solid position. You said with the 4 or 5 games left, depending on which team it is right now, you got 10 teams still hunting for 8 spots, 4 for play-in and the other 4 to be in round 2. So it'll be very interesting to see how these next few games play out as far as seeding goes for those teams.
And I know you said that the top 2 seeds are sitting pretty right now. The Lakers did just beat OKC, and they kept them from scoring 100 points. And y'all know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers real quick before we get into the break. If the Lakers win a championship this year, I don't ever want to hear you guys say that Michael is the GOAT ever again. I don't want to hear anything about Michael. And I love Michael. I've got his Jordans, his jersey, everything. LeBron is the GOAT already. But if he wins a 5th one, I don't ever want to hear anything about Michael ever again. And that's me, Dad. If you want to entertain it, you can entertain it. I'm doing it.
I'm gonna ruffle your feathers.
I'm gonna ruffle those feathers, baby. So yeah.
Michael Jordan said that if it was between Kobe and LeBron, as far as championship goes, it's definitely Kobe. As far as all-around performance, he would go with LeBron.
Kind of have to. I mean, that guy literally does it all.
Mamba was special.
Mamba was special. We miss him every day. Man. Miss him every day.
Smart, really smart.
Not to mention brash, because if he knows what you're going to do, he's going to get there before you do.
Yes.
And that's something that I always thought was impressive.
Right?
Yep, always a step ahead. And that's something else that, again, that you could see LeBron learn from him and really folded that into his style of gameplay.
Yes.
And but yeah, I just want to ruffle some feathers real quick, guys. But we're going to get into our first break of the evening. We get back, we're going to jump into college basketball, talk about the Gators, and then we'll hit the MLB and the NHL before I send you guys on your way. Thank you so much for having it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols. That is LSD Pujols right there, and we will be back to you after a moment from our boys over at Fast Break. Keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio for all your Florida sports needs. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
And we are back, guys, at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols. That's LSD Pujols right there. And it is brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Real quick, let's hit the chat real quick.
Ooh, the chat is cooking.
So, T-Rod, you already know, bro. You already know I'm a very opinionated guy. I definitely had to put that out there. But yeah, man, definitely ruffling some feathers like we're on a farm and there's some chickens, bro. Warriors are the team to avoid. If the Lakers have a solid big man, I'd be 100% in them. Jackson Hayes is solid, but he isn't AD when healthy. T-Rod is a fucking wizard, bro, because I couldn't agree on more.
Yeah. I mean, but they're trying to do it with the Joker too. So I mean,
I think that's the most
take
beatable
that
team.
into.
Yeah.
So
I think that team is the most beatable team when you talk about the West right now.
Yeah.
Like,
So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's called the Wild Wild West for a reason.
Well, I think that and you mentioning that, you made a great point, T-Rod, and I want to talk on that real quick for a second. The Warriors picking up JB from Miami was incredible. Great pickup, because what we've been able to see Steph Curry do is continue to do Steph Curry things, but do it knowing that teams are looking and saying, that's JB right there. That's not that's not Andrew Wiggins. That's JB. That's a guy that's going to go get you Steph Curry-like numbers if he needs to. Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't need to, then you got Steph doing Steph things, and then you got JB over here doing what he does, which is locking down, guys on defense. Well, okay, maybe not to the level that he was doing it 5-6 years ago, but still plays tremendous defense. He's got obviously a great handle on his mid. I mean, the guy's mid-range is lethal, right? When he's feeling himself, that three ball is lethal. And when you're pairing that with somebody like Steph Curry, somebody like Draymond Green in the middle, who's a very physical presence, and people can say the things that they want to say about him, but he's a tremendous ball player and he's got very high basketball IQ. Yeah, he's a bit combative, but who isn't? I mean, so what? I mean, this is a contact sport, guys, and you're going to have to play some bully ball down low, and that's something that he's very good at. I agree with you 100%. Jackson Hayes is a solid kid, but he is nowhere near AD when AD is healthy. When AD is healthy, we're talking about a top 10 player, maybe a top 5 player at times. And realistically, I agree with you 100%. I think that is the team for the Lakers to try to avoid, just due to the fact that we just do not have anybody that can cover Steph one-on-one. If we double Steph, they have too much firepower and too much continuity with a great coach of Steve Kerr who knows how to draw up plays to free up Curry to begin with. Absolutely. Not to mention, Curry just knocked down 12 trays the other night.
It's just insane.
What the hell?
I mean, I just saw a short with all of the most insane longest shots he's had, and I mean the one from the other free throw line. Yeah. And it was just insane. So, I mean, it's gifted. Incredible. Very gifted player.
Absolutely incredible
Mad
player.
Love for him, too. I do. I respect him very much.
Let's go ahead and let's see what Joe had to say. MJ is the GOAT.
Here it is.
Labron is Labron is a flapaholic bum that needed rented help to get titles just like he did this year with Luka.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
What time is it? It's 10:04. I got time. We
got all night, man.
All right, Uncle
we
Joe.
got all night.
I'm going to go back and forth with you real quick. Check this out. I'm going to break down your statement real quick. There's a video on YouTube. I encourage you guys to go look at it of Michael Jordan flopping. Michael Jordan was also a flopper. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to point out is that if we're going to blame somebody for flopping, we're going to start with Michael because Michael did flop. We saw Michael flop multiple times, in fact. And the thing about it is what people don't understand is I understand that people do not like the idea of flopping, but I will tell you this. If it gets you points, it's scoring. Mm-hmm. So when you're like Anderson Varejao and you average like 3 points a game, that's when you're a bad flopper. Because what are you doing? Like you don't make your free throws, and you also don't do anything when you're on the court other than fall. I will say that even though I like him a lot, JaMale McGee, he flopped. He averaged 7 points a game. Those guys don't need to be flopping. MJ was the first flopper, okay, and he would do it to get calls.
I don't think he was the first flopper. I think there were others.
I'll tell you what, though.
Bill Laimbeer.
Okay. He's right.
Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, and I was about to say
the master of the flop.
I was about to say, and where did Michael get it from? Because if you guys go back to the late 80s and you watched 88, 89, 90, okay, you will see Michael flopping against Detroit, the bad boy Pistons, because that team was a very physical team. So in order for him to get to the line, he would sell a little bit. If you got, look, come on, guys. I might only be 30 years old. I've watched basketball from back in the day. I've seen full games. Quite a few of them, in fact, okay? Y'all see who my dad is here? I've watched some classic basketball. Michael flops too, okay? Yeah, he definitely flops too. So that's the first thing. If we're gonna complain about LeBron, we're gonna complain about Michael too. So that nullifies that right there. He needed rented help to win championships. So Michael came into the league in 1984.
Right.
Didn't win a championship till 1991.
You sure about that?
1990-1991 season.
Where is that? I gotta look.
Yeah, it was 1990-1991 season, right against the Lakers, correct?
Yeah, because it did the three. They did the
It was
3
three
years.
peats,
Then
so
he went and played baseball.
90-91,
and he won
91-92, 92-93, retired, came back a year and a half later. So I say all that to say this: Michael could not win anything without Scottie Pippen. Again, if we're going to talk about somebody who invented renting somebody, because we all saw the Netflix special on that. We saw that Scottie Pippen didn't get paid a fucking dime in comparison to Michael Jordan and his shoe deal with Nike, not to mention his lucrative contract with the Chicago Bulls. So again, Michael's not the GOAT. Michael's just the guy who won when it mattered most.
Pippen's got no one to talk.
Yeah, Pippen.
I mean, Pippen's life is so bad right now. His wife left him, and right now is dating Jordan's son.
Yes.
OMG.
Yes. And unlike LeBron, Michael's son is trash at basketball. So there's also that. You want to talk about being a great ball player? He's a shitty father. How about that one?
We're having fun tonight.
Oh yeah, we're having fun.
Yes,
Last thing I want to say is bringing Luka over to the team. Well, I mean, we had AD. It's not LeBron's fault AD couldn't stay healthy.
That's true.
But I have to admit to you, as a basketball fan, if you came to me and said AD for Luka, I would say yes.
I would say yes.
I'm a huge Luka fan. We were Luka fans
that
in college.
That a trip, though.
Oh, we love.
Goodness.
We love Luka magic around here. So I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. You could say he had rented help in 2018 when he came back down 3-1 against the Warriors. That was 100% LeBron. You had Kyrie Irving for 2 games before he was fucking shot. All right. So realistically speaking, LeBron is him. Period. In basketball terminology, it's him. But I will admit that I love Michael. I still love Michael to pieces. That doesn't change anything. But having grown up, watching the tail end, not really the tail end because I started watching basketball in about 98. I did get to see the finals between the Bulls and the Jazz. And I did see the push off. Jordan did push off of Russell.
On Russell.
Let's be honest. That was a very bad push off. Nobody called it.
It was subtle.
It was
subtle.
It was subtle, but it was an ISO. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We don't know.
His career.
We don't know.
End of his career.
But anyway, Joe, I'm just going back and forth with you because I know you can handle it and you know what you're talking about.
He's my go.
Yeah.
Go with that.
But LeBron is. I'm sorry. I've been watching basketball 26 out of the 30 years that I've been alive. I have to put that there. Let me go ahead and hit T-Rod real quick. JaVale McGee, the former Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, but he was solid when he was like, absolutely. I love JaVale McGee, but when you're that tall and you hit the deck, Shaqtin' a Fool, you ain't lying about that one, T-Rod. Yeah, that is an absolutely incredible point there to make real quick. Uncle Joe, back at it. Let's see, 91, 93, 94, 96. He won with who they drafted 91 through 93. Rodman came in 94, 96, and the only one Lab Rat rents every year and runs to different teams to get a title, ran from Cleveland. No, I don't think he ran from Cleveland. So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. One of the things that people don't give LeBron enough credit for, because you make a solid point that I've heard in arguments many times before. I feel the need to let you guys know something. The player that LeBron has played the most games with was Kristaps Porzingis. or not Christoph Porzingis, my bad, wrong guy. The other freaking tall Russian dude that looks like him but was like trash. I said Christoph Porzingis because I just saw him like 30 seconds ago. But I can't remember what his name was. I have to go back and get that information for you. But that guy that he played with in Cleveland, he was the center for them, and that's the guy that he has the most games played with in Cleveland. The issue is when LeBron carried that Cleveland team in 2007 to the finals, that Cleveland team. Do me a favor and tell me who was on that team. Anybody in the chat, okay, including Jen B is the one who does Cleveland sports.
Yes.
If you're in the chat, can you tell me who was on that team with LeBron when he carried them to the finals? Because I'm gonna tell you a couple of players' names.
Shout out to Jim B. Maybe I'll try to get on your show this week.
There you go. Freaking guy. Here you go, T-Raw. Thank you. This freaking guy right here.
Zydrunas.
Oh my God.
Guskis.
This guy.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, that was LeBron's center when he played against Tim Duncan in the freaking Spurs.
Yes.
With Popovich and freaking Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and
that was after the Admiral, right?
Yeah, man, like that. Guys, all I'm saying is
Big Z.
All I'm saying is Michael never did that. Michael couldn't even get past the Celtics. Okay? The Celtics didn't even win in like the championship that final time. Like they couldn't even get past the Celtics. So, LeBron has done it. He's done it by himself. The reason why he left Cleveland was because Big Z, Mo Williams, and Deontay West were the other starters. I don't know about you guys, but if you don't know, Deontay West is homeless. Okay, he's like living a terrible life. Mo Williams fell off the face of the earth. I don't even know what happened to him. No Mo, literally. Welcome to Mo. No, I'm just playing. LeBron did that, and yes, he got swept, but he got swept by the Spurs. Greg Popovich, 5 championships. Okay, including all 5 with the Spurs, right? It's not like he went somewhere else to do it. All 5 with the Spurs. And like I said, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. That was before Green got with them. And I remember, I can't remember who the last guy was on that Spurs team, but you get what I'm saying. Absolutely incredible team that he went up against. And it was going to be hard for anybody to beat that Spurs team in that year. I don't really care who you were. So when you look at that, you realize he left because Cleveland would not put players around him. There were free agency after free agency after free agency that went on, and we saw talent go from New York to Denver, but we saw nothing happen in Cleveland. So, and there you go, T-Rod. I appreciate that, Sasha. Yep. Yeah. That freaking guy. And I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, what? Like, why is his name Sasha? Like, why do Russian people call them like use that name Sasha so much? But it is what.
Isn't it a term of endearment or something?
I don't know. I don't know. I always thought Sasha was a female name, but when he was the first person that I ever saw that was a male with that name. That's why I remember him. But with that being said, I urge you guys to really look at the content, like really go look back in history and really do the math. I want to hold on real quick, guys. Hold on. I don't normally do this and get up from my chair, but I want to show y'all something.
Okay.
Joe, you're gonna remember this.
Oh boy.
You're gonna remember this.
You done poked the bear, Joe.
Let me show you.
My goodness.
Y'all see this right here? I want to show y'all a piece of history. Y'all see this right here? Look at this. You see this right here? See, I know my basketball, guys. I know my basketball. Okay, so you see that, right? That's the championship shirt from that appearance. On the back, it has the names
of all the players.
I want y'all to look at that Chicago Bulls real quick. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson. Come on now.
Stacey King.
Come on, Stacey King. All right, and Scott Williams. Guys.
Don't forget Will Purdue.
Bro, guys. That team is freaking stacked. Are you kidding me? You see what Horace Grant did with freaking with Shaq when he was in Orlando for that split second? We forget that freaking John Paxson was the guy who hit the freaking shot in '93 to send the Suns back home.
Yep.
Y'all forget that the Suns won the game before that and the Lakers were trailing. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't Jordan, it was John Paxson who saved the Michael Jordan because Charles Barkley had that team humming. Mm-hmm. Okay. They had that team playing very well.
Made the Phoenix Suns set.
And the Phoenix Suns had the best regular record during that season as well, including league MVP Charles Barkley. Michael Jordan did not win MVP that year. It was Charles Barkley. So understand, guys, that we look at history because there's a lot of young kids and a lot of people who don't really have the knowledge. But realistically speaking, if you go back there and you do your homework, you realize that Jordan had a stacked team, and that some of these teams that he beat, the only two great players that he beat anywhere near their primes were Charles Barkley and Clyde the Glide. Okay, that was it. When you get to the mailman and you get those guys, they have been playing for a little while, all right? They have been playing for a little while, you know what I'm saying? So they were predictable, and we knew what they were going to do. It's all pick and roll, big man inside, and you can't touch the PG, bro, because you're going to call it every time. By the way, if you guys didn't realize that was really when that era started to change with the refereeing, because what was his name, the point guard again, with the mailman?
John Stockton.
John Stockton. Bro, you couldn't touch John Stockton. Karl Malone. But John Stockton, if you did that to him, it was a technical fucking foul. No cap. Go back and look at that. Go back and look at basketball back then. You hear whistles just because they scared him or something like that. So
all right, we need to.
Yeah, we're gonna move on, guys. I'm sorry, that was a lot of fun to get into. That was a lot of fun to get into.
I appreciate y'all's participation.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, so now the actual basketball we're supposed to be talking about are Florida Gators. Guys, we have our drinks, and we're going to raise them real quick. So we are going to salute you guys and the Florida Gators on a tremendous run and a natty championship berth that we will see take place tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys.
Salute.
It's like a Mack truck, bro.
Is that right?
Yeah, go ahead and drop that down there.
Yeah.
All right. I'm chasing.
Woo!
I'm chasing.
Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Love. Another Gator on top of that. There.
Yep. Stays at the Marriott down there in Central Tampa by Emily.
Really?
In fact, he's got a boat out there too and everything.
That doesn't surprise me. Probably with about
riding.
5 women on it.
Maybe 4.5 right now. He's getting up in age.
He's getting up there.
So, guys.
Has he been in a rap video lately?
Not recently. Not recently, but he has been in Amigos video. So there is that.
Yeah.
So for the Florida Gators, guys, just so happy to report back to you after watching the game yesterday. Florida Gators defeat the Auburn Tigers for the second time this year.
Yes.
79-73. Man, what a game. So the stats spoke for themselves. The Gators finished as a rank 1 in the West with a 35-4 record. Mm-hmm. Auburn finished as a rank 1 as well. I can't remember if it was East or South, but 79-73 was the score of that ball game. Auburn's record, my bad, 32-6 for the record. 79-73 was the score of that ball game. Listen, the first half was very questionable. All right, I have to admit, our Florida Gators came out. They looked a little uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that certain players were feeling the moment a little bit more than others. But this is where I apologize. This is where having that level of basketball play is important, for one. And then two, having somebody who actually participated in the Final Four the year before that in Elijah Martin. This kid was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely. Walter Clayton Jr. he's the best player in the country. I've heard nothing but Cooper Flagg and Broom from Auburn, the kid from Tennessee, all these great players. Guys, stop playing. Stop playing with the boy. All right, Walter Clayton Jr. is the best college basketball player on the face of this planet right now. Period. The end. All right, and if you haven't watched,
hopefully a future Magic player,
but if you have not watched Walter Clayton's basketball, you need to go check out the highlights from those last 2 games.
It's going to be tournament MVP.
He's easy. Win, lose, or draw tomorrow night. Yeah, that man's MVP. Okay, MVP. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, absolutely incredible. So for tomorrow, that game against Houston finishing also as a rank 1. Let me talk about that for a second. It's very rare that we have all 4 rank 1s in the Final Four. So having that this past year was absolutely incredible. I have to admit, I was a little stunned by that. There were some other 2s and 3s that I thought there was actually an 8 that I thought was going to get in there, and they didn't. But I'm still super excited. These games have been tremendous games. Regardless of what happened with Houston and Duke, Houston's in the Natty, and that game is going to be tomorrow night at 8:50 p.m. As you would imagine, I'm watching that freaking game. I'm going to be losing my damn mind along with the rest of everybody here in South Central Florida, probably North Florida and South Florida as well.
Houston didn't win that game. Duke lost that game.
Duke definitely lost that game. Referees have been and the referees have been very involved. I will be the first one to tell you that I do feel like the last couple of games, that the referees have definitely been calling some unnecessary shit. Sorry, excuse my French, guys, but I'm just calling it like what it is. They have that. This is too soft. Like they really let the kids play over the last 2 minutes over the last couple of ball games, barring that Houston Duke game. But if you go back to who did Houston play before that? Was it Michigan State? No, it wasn't Michigan State. The game before that, I caught a little bit of it. The referees were not involved as much.
Seems to be more involved in it every time the Gators seem to play. Like they really don't want this team to succeed, but
I don't think they want.
I could be a little biased, but
I think it's SEC teams. I'm gonna be honest with you.
SEC.
I think it's the SEC teams. Okay, I think that. What was it? 8 SEC teams got into the 16, the Sweet 16 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. So it's one of those things where you're just like, you have too many. You have to bring that back a little bit, and I think that's where a lot of that came from. But
hopefully they'll let the guys play tomorrow.
Hopefully they do just let them play. I mean, Houston has tremendous big guys down low, but I'm gonna stand on business, and I'm gonna say this right now. The University of Florida has the best 3-guard rotation in college basketball.
Period.
Okay, they've got the best young 2-way big man. All right, not 2-way big man, but dual sense. Let me say dual sense big man. I can't find the word that they call it when you're tremendous on offense and defense collectively. But Tommy Houck, I mean, look, I know he struggled yesterday, and he still played well. All right,
came through when it mattered.
Came through that inbound through the double contact on the foul with the and one. Come on, man.
That was sweet.
This big boy basketball.
That was a pivotal point in the game.
But I'm going to be honest with you. The guy who set the tone in the second half is Elijah Martin. Okay. Elijah Martin, we talked about it. We watched him. Yeah, AT, because he's actually Elijah, not Elijah. But
correct.
This man had 2 massive jams in the second half. And I mean,
the second was nasty.
Oh my God. So that first jam that he had was off of a bad throw, off a bad pass to Broom. Broom couldn't bring it home. Elijah's just more athletic, faster. And he got to the ball. And I mean, one step into free throw line, and he's bringing a one-hand Superman tomahawk jam right. I'm talking about earth-shattering the net, like just absolutely massive.
It was an ESPN #1.
Well, both of them made ESPN, in fact, and the second one
was
I think
Janet Jackson nasty.
It was. I think it was a little nasty. It was one of those ones where you what Glorilla say? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? You hit one of those after he hit that, like you snarl, it'll be like, like, what did he do? He gets the they get the steal, breaks out in the open court. Elijah, it's his world. It's 2-on-1. Yeah. Auburn's way. Elijah doesn't care. He's the Black Ranger, and he's putting this thing behind his head, and he's bringing it down on whoever's beneath him. And let me tell you something. There are 2 guys in the back of an ambulance right now talking about, I can't take it, because that was vicious. And I mean, it was a single hand jam from the heavens. Okay.
Carnage.
Absolutely.
There was carnage.
Okay. And I have to be 100% honest with you. The game was going back and forth, but the Gators are built for this. They are built for deep water. They are built for taking people out and making them uncomfortable and making them lose their bearings and forget who they are and how far they went to get here. If you guys had the opportunity to watch that game yesterday, you guys would have seen Auburn doing a lot of this. Yes. Because you know what happened? They got owned. Okay. Realistically speaking,
sure.
They got shut down, they got shut out, and they got pushed out. Okay. And now
and Elijah is really a catalyst on that team when things seem to be kind of get meandering a little bit.
He's the
And so
spark.
he is definitely a spark.
Yep.
Now he's from FAU, right?
Yes, he was formerly at FAU last year and played in the Final Four before
So
joining
this is
Florida.
his second consecutive Final Four
With the Florida team.
With the Florida team.
Yep.
There's something I want to mention here because, and I give prop to Matt Norlander for these two interesting facts here.
Okay.
This is on the same day that it was announced that Billy Ball, made the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. The Florida Gators made the national title game for the first time since Donovan took them there in 2007. 8 years ago.
And didn't we win back-to-back titles
I believe we did.
under Billy Donovan?
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be the beginning of another run here. And second one here, Florida just became the first team to trail by 8+ points at half. It was 8 at
Yep,
half.
that's correct. Exactly 8.
And win by 5 or more points in the Final Four since Duke beat Maryland in 2001. Just a quarter century ago. Yeah, just about.
Those stats mean a lot because if you guys have been watching Florida basketball, right, especially over the last 2 weeks,
Absolutely.
we've seen Florida. Let's talk about the issue. The main issue, Florida's turnovers. Okay, like let's put that out there.
A second.
Free throws, yes, but that's a 50-50, right? Like the turnovers have been a problem over the last 3 games for sure, and they've been a light problem since the beginning of the FCC tournament. Okay, so I say that to say that this Florida Gators team has found themselves in holes, but their resilience, their ability to battle back and to just keep playing, right? That's an old saying from the 90s that defensive coaches used to give to defensive players when they would be down. Guys, yeah, I get it. It sucks. But the same way there's positivity, there's also negativity. Right. And you have to keep playing to get there, and you have to bring yourself back. And that's what the Florida Gators have done in each of these last 2 games against tremendous teams in Texas Tech, and then, of course, last night against Auburn. So,
man, we got that Houston with the number 1 defense in college basketball.
Yeah, but see, defense wins you championships in football, not basketball. And I can give you
it comes
too
down
many
to
of
this.
Them. Yes. And guess what Todd Golden has?
He has that.
He has a lot of this. Okay. He's got a lot of that. Yeah.
Can I give a little shout out to Bruce Pearl? Okay. Yeah. At the end of the game, he put out this little quote. It says, "An incredible season has come to a close." And I give a lot of mad respect to Bruce Pearl. Very wonderful character of a man.
Yes.
And
tremendous
has done an amazing job with those Auburn Tigers this year. No reason to put their heads down low. And
for the record, we love Auburn. As Florida fans,
respect.
Auburn is a team that we have a lot of love for.
It's that Roll Tide, dude. You know.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, really.
As a Gator, if you're beating Alabama, whatever sport it is, we like you. And considering Auburn plays Alabama every year in the Iron Bowl, we salute you, Auburn. We got to take you down. I'm sorry, we got to take you down, and we got to beat you behind. We got to beat your ass.
We still salute you.
But we love you,
year.
and we salute you. And we are very, very proud of what you guys were able to accomplish, especially in the turnaround. The speed of the turnaround has been insane for them. Chat real quick. Chat. Hey, guys. Hey, I just want to say thank you guys in the chat. This has been one of the best chats we've had since I've started doing this. I really love seeing you guys involved. Thank you guys so much.
Very much.
So, T-Rod, Houston played Tennessee, and that's correct.
That's right.
I apologize for that, but I knew there was it was one of those games, and they did play Tennessee, and that was when we knew that Houston was for real. However, Houston has weaknesses, and guess where their weaknesses lie? In the Gators' strength, and that's on the perimeter in space with high pace, and that's what that is Florida's offense in a whole.
Sharpshooter alert,
and not just a single sharpshooter.
Bombs away.
I fully suspect Denzel Aberdeen to come into this game off the bench and give us about 9 to 12 points at some point in time.
Okay.
I could see
like
him.
That. I like that.
I could see him knocking down some trays and being absolutely massive for us.
He had 3 in this game.
He did, and I fully suspect him to bring that back out again. Uncle Joe says those officials were horrible against the Gators and didn't call nothing on Auburn, who were criminal fouling them. This is accurate. This is very accurate.
There's definitely evidence there. There should have been some +1s The Howe 2-pointer where he got hit in the back of the head is definitely one of those. And
Broom at the rim. Broom at the rim, and he's elbowing the defender while laying it up with the other hand.
Yeah, they don't call that either. Yeah, I mean that should have been on a foul on the offensive player and should have gone to the Gators' possession line.
Yep.
So yes, the referees have definitely been suspect, but you
can't stop.
Still got to
Florida.
play the game, and
Can't stop us. We can't even stop
ain't
us.
no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
That's correct.
That was for you, Linda.
There
All
you go.
right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We have destiny to attend to, and in Houston, you're in the way of that, and it's time for us to remove you. Martin played for FAU in 23 and the Gators in 25 in the Final Four. So there you go, guys. Like we talked about earlier, just absolutely incredible player in Elijah Martin. Then we also talk about Walter Clayton.
It's the second in the last 3 years.
But then also Walter Clayton Jr. played for Iowa and got knocked out of the 32, I think it was. And so he had a heartbreak season as well before coming to Florida and having this resurgence that he has had.
So basically, the portal worked in the favor
Misfits.
of the Florida Gators.
The Misfits. Because you got these guys all over the place and they're carrying their teams, but they can't do it alone. They come together, and now you have this kind of like, Power Ranger-esque kind of feel to this team where it's like together they can do whatever they want. Auburn is War Eagle. Yes, Alabama is Roll Tide. That is right. Correct, baby. We would
go War Eagle over
Roll Tide. War Eagle all
every time
day.
They play in the Iron Bowl.
That's correct. So we love Auburn.
Only because of the big rivalry between Florida and Alabama.
Yeah, well, it's all in love. It's all in competition.
And SEC conference championship games, football.
Historically speaking, Florida and Alabama, I think, have represented each side the most in the last 20 years, 25 years.
So. I think you're right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Since literally the turn of the century, it's been, even before the turn of the century, in 93, the Alabama Crimson Tide shocked Gino Torretta and the Miami Hurricanes and destroyed them.
Good point.
In the national championship game. In a game that people thought that Miami was just going to run away with it, and destroy Alabama. So, and who did they have to beat to get there?
I'm having another senior moment.
You're having another senior moment? That's okay. Because it was some team that wore blue with orange.
And kind of goes like this.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, right?
They have bushes at the stadium.
Yes.
They call it the swamp or something.
The swamp, yeah.
So if you guys didn't know, there's a lot of history there. So it's always go Auburn, always go Tigers. We love you guys. Same thing with LSU as well. LSU's eternal rival for the Florida Gators. If you guys didn't know that, there's another little fact for you. But let's go ahead and get into the Rays, and let's get into baseball real quick, guys.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
The last thing on the Gators before we roll to the Rays. Okay. I pulled up the preseason top 25 when the season started.
Oh, you guys are going to love this. You're going to love this.
Okay. Kansas was number 1.
And where are they at?
Bama was 2. UConn was 3. Beat them.
Where are they at?
Oh, we beat Bama. How many times?
Where are they at? Yeah. Get them out.
Houston was 4, so
really?
they're there. Okay, all right. Iowa State, Gonzaga, Duke, Baylor, North Carolina. I can go down here. Long story short, Florida's sitting at 21. They were picked the 7th team in the SEC. They were 21st ranked, according to the preseason poll.
What the do those guys know?
They didn't know what we had.
They don't know what we had. They don't know what we have.
All right, look.
Still,
if this can get out to Coach Golden, Condon, Kenyelu,
Alex Condon,
Richard, Clayton, Martin, Hogg, Aberdeen, and Handleton.
Yep.
Boys, you've proven these guys wrong
all year.
You've knocked off number ones
after number one. After number one.
You weren't supposed to win the SEC tournament.
They said you couldn't beat Tennessee.
They gave you a number 1, but I think by putting you as the 4th number 1, they disrespected you. You were the best team the second half of the year.
And you're the best team in college basketball right now.
I'm going to stand up. right here. You see that? Believe in the mission. Yes, that's a Tim Tebow foundation shirt. Mad love to my boy Timmy T.
We love you, Timmy.
And we continue to support him, and I do. I donate every month to this foundation. They do great work over there. Him
Absolutely.
and Demi doing a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Okay, but we're going to change believe to now finish.
Let's finish the job, guys.
Get her done!
And bring it home.
Go Gators.
Go Gators, baby.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's get into a quick break. And I mean, very, very quick break. And we will wrap things up with
What a show.
With the MLB and the NHL before we send you guys on your way. Thank you guys for so much for still having it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols alongside LSD Pujols. And we will be back to you in 60 seconds, guys. Keep it locked here for all your Florida sports needs.
The roar of the crowd, the drama and pageantry, the adrenaline rush and decadence of the world of professional wrestling. Join yours truly, the SoCal Saint, for the best pro wrestling podcast going today, the IE Wrestling Show, exclusively on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Join us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, every Wednesday, the IE Wrestling Show. It's just too woo!
That pen is hot, guys, but you know what else is hot? Palm Tree Sports Radio. Corey Pujols, your host, my co-host this evening. LSD Pujols to the right of me, your left. Brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. Again, thank you for having it locked here this Sunday evening. You guys have been an amazing support section today. So for Rays baseball, guys, we're going to get you this information and send you guys on your way. Rays baseball goes like this. The season has just started, so we're not going to put too much into it for both the Rays and the Marlins. The Rays have been on a slippery slope recently, though, losing 4 in a row. They're currently 4-5, in fact, and they just lost to the Rangers 4-3. Rangers rocking an 8-2 record. For the record, guys, I've been watching baseball since the freaking Rays came into existence in 1998. And I can tell you one thing and one thing only. The Rangers play the Rays hard as fuck, okay? I can't explain it to you, but when you talk about the teams that the Rays struggle against, it's not the Yankees, it's not the Red Sox, not even the Orioles as much as the Rangers. This is a team that the Rays just struggle against in every phase and action of the game, and they have struggled with them my entire life. Okay, for the entire life of the Rays, they have struggled. So understand, whenever I see the Rangers, I kind of just roll my eyes and I'm just like, all right, just get it over with, please. Now that this series is over, the Rays will be going on to play the Angels. The Angels rocking a 6-3 record right now, Tuesday, April 7th at 7:05 p.m. That is Tuesday, April 8th at 7:05 p.m. Guys, if I didn't make it clear earlier to those of you who it may concern, the Gators play tomorrow. Okay, so you got a couple of games tomorrow. You got quite a few games tomorrow, in fact, and then you got a couple of games on Tuesday. But tomorrow's the big one. Okay, 8:50 start time for the Natty Florida Gators versus Houston. Get ready for that. But back to the Rays. That game again, April 8th, 7:05 p.m. I mentioned that the Rays have lost 4 in a row. Look, it's the beginning of the season. They have a lot to play for, but they also don't have a lot to play for. So hopefully those boys can really turn it around.
Get some continuity going
In the W column. It's going to get really, really hot. So that should work towards their advantage. All right. Having been used to playing out in this heat. So hopefully that also plays to our advantage, and we'll have to wait and see what happens moving forward.
I mean, they're not the Los Angeles Dodgers, obviously.
They're not.
No.
I love the Dodgers, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Otahani and those boys.
Home run on bobblehead night. Insane.
You're a wizard, Harry. That's all I'm saying. But nonetheless, we still believe in you guys. We still want the best for you guys. And speaking of wanting the best for you guys, I do have an update on the stadium situation. So the last time I told you guys, I spoke with the mayor of Tampa. Obviously, we were trying to keep the Rays in Tampa, but obviously the backup plan was keep them in St. Petersburg, which is essentially just Tampa 1.5. Same thing with Brandon, where we're at currently. My old man actually works in St. Petersburg as a letter carrier, so shout out to the Union letter carriers and all you guys and all what you guys do. But yeah, I know you're okay with it. I'm okay with it. St. Petersburg is fine with me. I never had a problem going across the pond to go watch them play. Tropicana Field is kind of special to me, in my opinion. It's very, very special. We've been there countless times before for many different reasons. And I have to admit, I love Tropicana Field. I personally would rather travel that distance than obviously keeping the Rays in Tampa is massive, but at the same time, again, St. Petersburg is essentially still Tampa. Like, I don't really view it as not Tampa. I kind of view all of this as Tampa. So, in a great place, downtown St. Petersburg is beautiful. I'm glad it's a $22 million deal to keep the stadium there and to get it fixed up after the damages from Hurricanes Milton. And so that's the update for the stadium.
Little Birdie's saying they may actually stay there a little longer, but that's way too early.
It's too early to determine. We know they're fixing the stadium, and we know that they're going to want to keep their deal in place for the time being. What's going to happen after that?
If I could only, bend Stu Sternberg's ear.
Right.
I mean, I do know where he lives, but, the man deserves his privacy.
That's correct. Can't knock on the door and be like, hey, what are we doing here? But, so there you guys go for all the MLB fans out there. Rays staying in pseudo Tampa Bay. St. Petersburg, like I said, is just, if you guys look on the map and you go zoom in to Tampa Bay and you see that water with that little piece of land that kind of goes like that, that's St. Petersburg. You see what I'm saying? So
the bottom tip.
Yeah. Nothing's really changed much. Nothing's really changing there. But that's it for the Rays, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Marlins. Tell you what's going on. The Marlins playing slightly better baseball than the Rays right now. They're rocking a 5-4 record, so flip-flop the two records. Yep, just a little bit. They beat the Braves. Braves got a 1-8 record. Not a great team at the moment.
What is up in Atlanta?
I don't know. I don't know. Far cry from the team we saw last year to start the season. I'll tell you that much.
Not a traditional start for them.
Not a traditional start. And we're talking about the Braves, too. Like, this is a storied,
franchise, man. I remember them back in the 90s.
I remember when Dion played for them.
And all them.
You remember that?
Oh,
when Dion played for them?
Oh, yes.
Didn't they go to a series, too? They went to a World Series and lost it to the Yankees.
I think so.
I think it was.
Right.
That's insane, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Atlanta Braves just struggling to start the season. 1-8, like I said, be their record to who it may concern. Next game for the Marlins is going to be against the Mets, the 6-3 Mets. That should be a good game early in the season. Tomorrow, 7:10 p.m. So that's going to be the first game that you guys are going to see, followed by the Heat game that starts at 7:30, and then after that, you're going to have Monday Night Raw starting at 8, and then of course you're going to have the Natty at 8:50. So I'll just be watching. I'm literally going to watch the Marlins game first when Monday Night Raw starts, or when the Heat game comes on, I'll flip-flop there. Monday Night Raw starts a half hour after that. I'll be watching Raw until the Natty, and then at that point, hopefully, I'll be able to stream all three of what's still going on between the Natty, the Heat game, and then Monday Night Raw, and catch all of that in sequential order. 2-2 over the last 4 for the Marlins. This team's playing pretty good baseball to start the season. Hopefully, they're able to turn it around off the season they had last year. They needed this offseason. They put in some work this offseason. They've got some continuity. It's hot down south. Hopefully, they can use all that to their advantage and continue to play well this season. Like I said, they're sitting one game above 500, guys. So that is the MLB right there. Let's go ahead and wrap things up with the NHL. And we're talking about 2 teams, really 2.5 teams. We're not supposed to be talking about the Maple Leafs, but realistically speaking, you cannot talk about the Panthers.
You're going to have to go through the Maple Leafs right now.
Right now, the Maple Leafs are controlling their own destiny, and they're playing tremendous hockey. I have to admit, this team looks scary.
In the Atlantic,
yeah,
the Washington Capitals are insane in the Metropolitan.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Capitals are playing tremendous hockey as well, but this is that time. This is that time we were talking about in relation to like college basketball, where those teams that have that grit, that have the heart, that have that dog in them, they're going to start to outlast, and that's what they're doing. They're just flat out outlasting teams. Yes. It's not so much that they're just going into their house and beating them to a pulp and then leaving like Mike Tyson style. No, it's Evander Holyfield. They're just bigger, stronger, more durable, and they're landing their punches. And that's what we're seeing right now in the NHL. But I will also say the Capitals do not have nowhere near the amount of competition that the Maple Leafs has, because we're talking about, and I said this each of the last few weeks, the Stanley Cup still goes through Florida.
That's right. Absolutely.
The Panthers, the Bolts, still right there with the Maple Leafs, still fighting for position. Obviously, the Panthers have been struggling recently. We'll talk about that when we get onto the Panthers side, but the Bolts right now sitting in second place, still playing tremendous hockey. Not the best hockey they've played, but still playing tremendous hockey. What do you got for me, Dad?
All right. We got 6 games left with the Lightning right now. They are second in the Atlantic with a 44-26-6 record. They're fourth in the East overall right now. 6-3-1 the last 10. Quick note with Ovechkin for the Washington Capitals passing Gretzky with his 895th goal. So,
and 896, I believe, actually. He scored a second time.
Yeah, so mad respect. Flowers given for hard-earned effort there. So
I still like Wayne Gretzky better.
Great one.
Just going to point that out, okay? I'm a young kid, but I know about Wayne.
No disrespect, Ovechkin.
Yeah, no disrespect.
Yeah. No disrespect.
But Wayne was nasty.
Anyway, but that's what we got right now with the Lightning sitting there. It's going to be hard to get up there on top there with Toronto at this point. But, let's see what happens in these next ones. The Senators beat the Lightning Thursday 2-1. That was in regulation. And then the Sabres beat the Lightning 3-2 yesterday, but it was in a shootout. So we did pick up a very vital point there, which makes a big difference when you consider who's in third place, which would
defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers.
So you
out of Sun, Florida.
You got anything else before we roll to them?
The only thing I want to point out, 4-2 over the last, like you mentioned it before that, but the 4-2 over the last 6 with losing 2 in a row. They're gonna go see the New York Rangers. Is it tomorrow or the night after that?
It is Rangers.
It is Rangers tomorrow. Okay, cool. So tomorrow, that's going to be a tough game right there. 36-33-7 be the record for the Rangers. OT is kicking there behind, but still a solid team. And the Rays have been struggling against not top tier teams recently. So there are Bolts. I'm sorry. So with that being said, come on, boys, let's pull this out. Let's get back in the W column and continue this trend of more positivity than negativity, win to loss column. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, like I said, six games left before the season. This time next week, we will know exactly where we're at in the playoff seeding and how this is going to unfold, who we're going to be playing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're looking forward to that. But for the time being, blanket until then. Okay. Panthers.
Yes.
This team, question mark. Just question mark.
What is going on now?
WTF.
Yes.
All season long, the Panthers have been one of the most feared teams across the NHL, and we have not seen that over the last week and a half at all. Just to get into it real quick, Panthers rocking a 44-29-4 record, still a decent record right now. They lost to the Red Wings 2-1. Red Wings rocking a 36-33-7 record, the exact same record that the Rangers are rocking. So it begs the question, what's going on in Florida with those Panthers? It does not get any easier for them if they're going to want to make a statement. This is going to be the time to do it before they run out of time. They are going to go see the Maple Leafs Tuesday, April 7th at 7 p.m. Maple Leafs rocking, as you mentioned earlier, 47-25-4 record, the best team right now in the Atlantic, and they have been laying siege to that number one spot over the last 2 weeks. I got to admit, they've lost 5 in a row. I'm feeling kind of questionable. Yeah.
Concerning, very concerning right now. And it's interesting because if there was a time that they need to turn it around, now would be the time. You have to do it now. Okay? And that would also help not only the Panthers, but it would also help the Lightning as well, because right now they're 4 points behind Toronto.
Yep.
Toronto, they've yet to beat I'm talking about the Bolts.
Yeah.
Have yet to beat Toronto this year.
Yep.
But the Panthers this would be a signature win late in the season. So let's see what happens. All 3 are in the playoffs irregardless.
Yeah, the question is, where are they going to be at, right?
Exactly.
Like, what is their seeding going to be? And obviously, we're going to know more after these next 2 games, right? Because like you mentioned before, Florida can do a massive number on the Atlantic right now and in the East by defeating, the Maple Leafs and just developing and just winning these last couple of games, like you said, with 6 games left to go before playoff seeding is in crunch time. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know that these 3 teams will be in the playoffs and that they will be 3 very dangerous teams. The question is, how dangerous will they be and how much momentum will they have? Bolts fans first, Panthers fans second. So Panthers, get it together, guys. Bolts, do it. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, just let you know.
Let's show them why it comes through Florida.
Hey, and it continues to go through
The state
Florida.
of Florida. Yes.
Y'all understand me now? All right. Well, with that being said, guys, that is all of the information that I have for this Sunday evening. Not that we have for you guys this Sunday evening. I always enjoy these to be able to bring my old man on the show, you guys. This man means the world to me. Without him, I wouldn't be here. So I thank you all the time, Dad. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you for also co-hosting and bringing the wealth of knowledge and experience that you have with sports as well to the table. Go ahead and give one last shout out to the people.
Absolutely. Again, thanks to everybody that was in the chat today, especially those that are in there for the first time. Shout out again to my favorite cheerleader, Linda. And Joe, thanks for being on there.
Good to see you, Uncle Joe.
Thanks, Brian, for being there. T-Rod, much love to y'all. Thank you to our sponsors.
Yes.
As well.
Absolutely.
And I'm just thankful for this wonderful opportunity to be bestowed upon my son, whom I love very dearly. Thank you, and God bless you all.
You heard the man. God bless. Thank you so much again for joining us on Palm Tree Sports this evening. Same time, same place next week with a lot more definitive information about what's happening as we approach the playoffs for both the NBA and the NHL, guys. I can't wait to be back with you again. Same time, same place. Again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host and my co-host this evening. LSD Pujols right here to the right of me, your left. Until next time, you guys, God bless. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Love your family. Love everybody, please. Just there's so much going on in the world right now. I can't get into detail. I'm not going to talk politics, but guys, just take that time and spread some love because we could all use that right about now. All right, guys? Again, until next time, we will see you. This is Corey and LSD signing off for the evening, guys. Until next time.